I remember sitting in front of my screen, and for the first time in 2 years, I just had my first profitable week.
Trades for the week. We started a week with gold. We smashed another gold, and then
not just some $20, $30 profit, but my first 4-figure week. And I sat there, I didn't tell anyone. And the reason was not because it wasn't real. I just didn't believe that this could be happening, or this was the way it was gonna happen. So this is the story of what exactly changed, what exactly clicked, how I changed it. It wasn't some magic indicator, some magic video or course that I suddenly watched. It was something that I changed in the way that I approach everything. And once it clicked, I never looked back. So before we dive into actually some of the things that made a difference, this was like my notebook from, you know, we all have these in trading, right? So this was my notebook of how I started trading. And so this is my notebook, and it's like really dusty. I had to really pull this out of nowhere. But this is my notebook that how we started trading. Right here it says price action strategy. And I'm gonna come close to the camera and show you this, that this is something we all have, right? And I used to draw candles, I used to draw market structure, right? I used to do all of that. And we all have these type of scenarios. So that was the point I was starting for. Basically how you guys started your journey. I'm sure you all have a notebook like that. It's classic. Before having this week, which was a pivotal moment in my trading journey that a lot of you might have had or have not had and are wondering how to grow from that, trading was pretty dull, as it is for a lot of people. Lots of losses, never seeing success, and I explained this full story in a couple of videos ago on my YouTube channel. And I went through the hardship, right? I was, you know, someone who didn't really have a career path, and I was someone in trading who just wanted to make it, and I would hop from strategy system and wouldn't make it, and it was just 2 years of mess. And until this moment happened, and I'm going to explain to you how I did it, what changed, and what happened afterwards, it was difficult. It was difficult to even imagine that it would happen, and I felt like all the work I had been doing in the past was going to waste, and the results were feeling like that. I was just not achieving any results. It was the classic cycle of there is hope that just leads into disappointment. Then you find something new, there's hope, and then it leads into disappointment. But what kept me going is that I knew there had to be a way for this to be solved, right? I knew amongst all of the BS, there had to be some truth. I know that, hey, it might not be the way that these guys are saying, but I'm sure I can find a way to get to this point. And that is exactly what I want to talk about. So the first thing I did is find out what am I doing wrong. I did a self-assessment. I did an analysis of what I'm doing wrong. First thing I found is I'm following a system emotionally, not systematically. Meaning, and this is something I didn't notice, I would take a trade that follows a plan and I wouldn't make how much I want because I was hesitant to risk more and I wasn't too confident on the plan. And if I won, I would have a little confidence to try a little 1-minute scalp. And then I would be like, okay, I can make a little bit more. Some days it would work, but most days it wouldn't. And that little bit extra of just the emotion or trying to recover a loss, I used to always try to find a way. If I lost big, I would start entering small, tiny trades to try claw it back. They would make me lose bigger. Then I'd up the size, lose even more. And it was just a mess like that. So I started analyzing, okay, that's obviously something I'm doing wrong. The second thing was my relationship with losing trades was bad. I was angry at the trade losing, not trying to figure out why I lost and realize if it was just something with my analysis. Most people think it's a system, an entry and TP, and that's it. But analysis plays a huge part in trading. What are you doing to analyze the whole idea of the market? Your idea needs to play out, not only your trade. So I needed to remove that and start focusing purely on analysis. I did that by starting to do daily analysis every single day. Before this channel you're watching this video on, I had a separate channel that I was posting crypto analysis every single day. I also realized that I was taking good trades, but I would do other things that let my good trades down. And that was the big thing that was, you know, something that was a plausible cause of causing me to end up losing week after week. I would have profitable days, but never week. So I started to do this self-analysis. By then I had a system that I loved to follow. I had a plan, and I had, you know, an understanding of the market. Anyone with more than a year experience can tell you that they have some sort of understanding. So it's not really about having an understanding, it's more about putting the pieces together, right? Race car drivers, they normally have a time, let's say they're setting a qualifying lap that they have to beat. A race car driver in a multitude of 10 laps could have each segment of the lap performed better than everyone else racing that day, but he can't piece it all together. So it's not only about, hey, I'm really fast on all sections of the track compared to every other racer out there. It's about who's the racer that can piece together the fastest lap, even though it's not the fastest out of everyone, but the fastest lap with all the sections together. And that's the same as trading, is that trading is not about who can just take the best trades. It's about who can piece everything together, what happens outside the trades and in different areas, right? So that's an analogy that you have to understand, and that's a massive lesson that I learned. So the lead up to this week where I made my first up, every single week, Monday Monday was the same battle. I would come to the charts and I would tell myself, this is the week. I promise I will follow my plan. I promise I'll do everything. And that's something that actually helped, because every week I would come and promise to myself that I would follow my plan and do exactly what I said. But this time I changed something a little bit different. I said to myself, I'm going to keep confident risk, and I'm going to put up the video when I hit my first profitable week. You're probably going to see it. We probably replay it. I'm not sure where in the video I put when I hit my first $1,000 week.
Trades for the week. We started a week with gold. We smashed another gold, and then we got a small loss, kept loss small, and then recovered that loss, finishing nicely.
And what I did is I said, you know what, I'm not going to concentrate on a lot of trades. I just want to take the trades that I feel the most confident in and have a good analysis of the market, and that's it. If it's 3 trades, if it's 2 trades, if it's 1 trade, I don't mind. I just want to end this week profitable. So suddenly my shift changed that week. Instead of jumping into setups when I see it, I waited for setups. I waited for setups because this was a week where I just told myself I'm going to experiment. Everything else is failing, so let me experiment just taking 1 to 2 good trades this week and calling it a week. If the first trade was a loss, then I can take another trade. Maybe I end the week break even. I don't care. I'm not chasing trades this week. I just want to take a trade and make sure I feel confident inside of that trade. So that was the first approach change I made, and that's the first thing you need to do. Have confidence in what you do and what your analysis is for that day. Stick to one idea. So I stuck to 1 session, I stuck to 2 pairs. At the time was GBP JPY and gold, and I stuck to 1 entry time frame, which at the time was a 15 minutes. So I said those are my variables. I'm keeping variables to a minimum, because if I'm unprofitable adding more variables, let me just try get a basic first. Might mean I'm missing a lot of opportunities, but that's where my mindset changed. Because the second step here is I'm going to have a document with all the steps here, okay? And that document I'm going to flash up. I'm also going to link in my free Telegram group, which is in the description, so you guys can join that free Telegram. The document will be there when you scroll up. I'm going to put all the steps that I changed, okay? Is that I came to the approach. I was so used to looking at other traders win on multiple setups. I used to watch on Instagram me trade a different strategy, but a guy with a different strategy caught the setup that I feel like I missed out on. I erased all of that idea and I said, I don't care what they are doing. Let me just focus on just getting some sort of results for myself, right? Because I always felt like if someone else is doing something, then I've missed out on the move of the day. Or if I see a big move on the chart, I feel like there's something wrong in my process that didn't allow me to catch that move on the chart. When in reality, because I was taught in my head, people were telling me, if a move happened on the chart, look how you could have found a way in. No, it's wrong. You have to say, it has to be reverse engineered, not look how you could have found a way in. Was there a move on a chart? Yes. Was there a way in that follows your plan? Yes, you missed it. But if there wasn't, then it was not a trade you should have taken. So it became a matter of the process rather than the outcome, and then the outcome started to be success. So you can see that week I took minimal trades, but I ended up risking because I was confident and made a good result to end my first 4-figure week. Now that is something that a lot of people seem is cheesy, but I promise that is a game changing. And from there on, then I kept my trading simple and I expanded very carefully using back testing only to find new entry methods and refine my strategy. Throughout the whole journey, you had to refine, but that was a pivotal moment where I realized doing less is more. And really, people have said that to you, but this is the real story of how to do less to give you more. So focus on that, because making 1,000 in 1 week is great. You can do that on a prop firm challenge and get payout. We have total proof of that. I've done it. Many people have. I've showed you there early in my journey. So if that's not proof, fast forward to today. Today, you will watch me on stream, sometimes not take a trade for up to 2 days, 3 days on that London session, if there's something that's not matching my strategy. Where other times I'm taking a trade every single day if there's an entry. I have winning streaks, I have slow periods, but that is the discipline I have towards putting process over outcomes and focusing on making sure I hit those variables every single time. This document will help you a lot to realize how this all works. Fast forward to today. $1,000, which once was an amazing goal, is now what I risk per trade and more. $1,000, which was an impressive number to hit. Those small steps have led up to an area now where I can go buy what I want, do what I want, have my favorite cars, and just be able to do much bigger things. So we realize that the smallest steps is what makes the biggest difference long term, and that is the main take. So if you just started trading and wonder if any of this will ever click, it really does. But it's easier to make things click when you're not alone. For me, I struggled throughout a period. I have also seen a lot of other people struggle, help them get out of those difficulties they may have had, and that has brought me great experience to be able to find out exactly what makes people succeed and what makes people fail, all stemming from my experiences, not opinion. That is why I wanted to create one of the only foolproof communities where I can teach and actually help people to succeed, trade live with me and see someone who does it on a daily basis. I literally built it because I wish it existed when I was sitting exactly where you may be sitting right now. So the link in the descriptions for that if you want to join and level up something that is non-BS in an industry full of BS. And I hope this journey video has helped. If you like these type of videos, the one thing I ask is just to leave a simple like on this video. It helps so much get this video out to more people, and just to share the story of the reality of trading, how to overcome it and actually make profits to get you results. Videos on my channel are going to cover my strategy as well if you're interested to see how I trade. With that being said, take care, trade sharp, and hopefully catch you guys very, very soon.